Hello, my name is Cindy Lansford, and I'm a member of Alpha Chapter of Phi Beta Mu, and I'm located in Keller, Texas. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors of Phi Beta Mu International, and this project, Melodies Minds, Chats with Composers, is being implemented by this organization. Today, I'm so lucky to get to speak with William Owens, now Dr. William Owens, and so I know that this is going to be a fun and a happy conversation. We have all played Mr. Owens' music a lot over the past several years and have been happy to do so, as this gentleman's music can make a simply good band sound great. So welcome, Willie. And I asked if I could call you Willie, and you said yes.
Absolutely.
Let's get started and caught up with your story and what your current projects are. You know what I want you to do is I want you to start at the beginning, if you don't mind. Tell us where you were born and kind of about your band experience that led you to Vandercook, because that's where you went to college, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yep.
so let's do that first.
Okay, well, I come from Gary, Indiana. That is my home. And from after I graduated from high school, I went on to Vandercook. My high school band director, Ann Betts, who was just such a huge influence, and to this day, that good lady enjoys my lifelong gratitude. I started in the Catholic Youth Organization band back when I was in seventh grade, and it was a 1 day a week program. We would go down into the church basement on Friday afternoons, and we would practice for 45 minutes a week. And then the entire band would assemble on Saturdays at one of the neighboring Catholic schools. So that was pretty much the situation we grew up in. And it was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. I started playing the trumpet in my early days. I played
Okay.
trumpet in middle school for 2 years. And then when I got to high school, my director, Ann Betch, it was a small Catholic school band. There were about 35 kids in the program. And she asked me if I'd be interested in playing the tuba, which I did. That was just a fun challenge, and I just took the tuba and I practiced, and and got pretty good at it. And I was a tuba player in my high school band for 3 years. Became interested in the saxophone my sophomore year. My band director was a saxophonist, and she was a very good one. She is a very good one. And I just got interested, and I clung on to her just very quickly. I just loved the way she carried herself. She was a wonderful teacher. She was a great example, and she was just someone I wanted to be like when I got older. So
Cool. Trumpet, tuba, saxophone.
go figure.
But that's okay. That's just the way it is. So your public school experience was not really probably what you witnessed very much, especially in the state of Texas.
Oh, absolutely. No, no, not at all. I'm
Yeah,
from Indiana, and I attended Catholic school K through 12, so it was pretty different.
yeah, very different. And I might add this. You live in Fort Worth, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And so, I know you're from Gary, Indiana, but you know that Texas loves to claim you as our own.
Huh? Hey,
So,
I'll take it. I
well, we will share you.
happily submit.
Well, we will share you, but we just love to say that you're one of ours. So tell us a little bit about your experience at Vandercook. Is that where you got the composition bug, or did it start sooner than that?
Actually, it started a good bit later. I didn't write my first piece, Cindy, until I was in my early 30s. But yeah, I'll get to that later. But
Okay.
no, went to Vandercook and was just very excited about being I just wanted to be a really fine band director.
Okay.
In particular about the level, high school, middle school. I just wanted to, have my own program and just do all the things that good people did for me back when I was growing up.
hmm
And
So after you graduated, where did you get your first job?
all right, my first job was in Los Fresnos, Texas, which is just a little ways north of Brownsville. Okay, I was the assistant at what used to be Los Fresnos Junior High School. And then after 2 years of teaching there, I moved to Brownsville. That's where I met Paul Flinchbaugh and all
hmm
the people. And
So how did that, because the Valley of Texas is a long way from Vandercook. So how did all that transpire?
well, the supervisor of music at the time, Bob Vazzetti, was a Vandercook graduate. You know
Ah,
pretty
Hmm.
Okay, they go to their alma mater. Okay, who you got for me this time around?
Hmm.
And so, even though Los Fresnos wasn't directly a Brownsville connection, the gentleman who hired me was a Vandercook graduate. So there was a little bit of a connection there.
Yes. Well, I just know that uh, several people that have taught in the Valley are Vandercook graduates.
Oh, yeah.
So, and good teachers too. So that's awesome. Well, so how long did you teach in the Valley?
I was there 12 years. So,
Okay.
mhm.
Did you start your composition stuff while you were there?
I did. I started, I'm going to say, around my 12th year of teaching. And
Okay.
no, actually, I'll say probably around the late 80s. I was the assistant director at a middle school program. And
Hmm.
as you know, back then, literature for those groups, I had a seventh grade band, 33 seventh graders who played 1 year.
Hmm.
And as you know, there just wasn't a lot of viable literature
Oh, yes.
at that level. So my first piece was a little bitty grade one march that I wrote just out of necessity. I'd always done arranging, and what I was doing at the time, I was doing a lot of rearranging of marching band pieces for
Oh,
friends of mine who were high school band directors. That
uh-huh.
was, that was right around back when House Bill 72 kicked
Yeah. Oh,
in. And
was
they
that
had
the no class pass, no play?
no pass, no play, right? Where they
I
had
was
to,
teaching.
right, that's it, where people
Yep.
were scrambling to redo all these charts. And so I, helped some of my high school buddies rewrite music. And so I figured, well, I'm in front of this little bitty seventh grade band and I need something. And I thought if I were going to write something for this group, I would maybe do this and do that and do this. Again, I've been doing a lot of arranging. So to me, composition was just the next step over. Just come up with a little bit of an original
Right.
melody, which I did, and we went from there.
That's interesting. I did my homework and read your bios here and there and everything, but I really had no idea that your composition itch or, beginnings, were rooted in the fact that you were writing something that you needed for your bands.
Right.
And I'm thinking about a few other people I know that that's how their composition, you know, uh, career started too, or maybe not career because they have not been as extensive, but a lot of people write marches for their bands,
Yep. Oh, they
because,
do.
yeah, because you got to find something that fits what you have.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So,
you mentioned the compositional itch earlier, and I had no itch, so to speak. I had no aspirations to be a composer. I started writing completely out of necessity, Cindy.
that's just really fascinating. I really had no idea about that. So that's pretty cool. Um, were there anything from your middle school or high school days that were, you thought that were kind of inspirational, or was it just all you wrote what was a necessity that you really needed?
Right. That was just it. It
That
just
was it.
that one moment, that 1 year.
Hmm.
Up until then, all I wanted to do is what you did, just be a really fine band director.
Well, there you go. And so, when did you start publishing?
Now, that came a little earlier on. I published at the behest of a mentor of mine, Mr. Eddie Galvan, who would come to the Valley and clinic our bands every year. And I had this little march that I wrote, and he pretty much encouraged me to send it over and, have some publishers look at it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Did he teach in Corpus Christi?
He did. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
that's right.
He was at Miller High School for many years.
Yes. Hmm.
And Eddie would come down and he would say, "Listen, man, did you submit that to me?" And I go, "No, Eddie, I didn't do it." "Well, why didn't you do it yet? When are you gonna submit it, you dum dum?" He called me a dum dum. And so basically, I submitted it to TRN Music Publisher, not expecting anything. And again, I wasn't excited about getting a piece published. I just wanted to get Eddie off my back. So I sent it. So I sent it to TRN. And 2 weeks later, I got a letter. These were the pre-email days. I get a letter in the mail telling me we would like to publish it.
Wow.
My great surprise.
Yeah.
So I did that. And I thought, well, okay, that's my little brush with composition, and I'll move on back to, becoming a fine band
Really
director.
good band director.
That was the
You
goal.
know, I don't know for sure, but I think this part of our conversation is maybe the most surprising to a lot of people. I mean, with all the successes and everything that you were having, that you have had and that you were having. So you were in the Valley for 12 or 13 years, and then where did you go after that?
There, I went to Lubbock, went to the Panhandle. I was the band director at Estacado High School in Lubbock,
I
Texas.
didn't know that.
Sure did.
Well, there
And
you go.
yep, I spent 4 years in the Panhandle over there in the Lubbock area, and made many great friends over there. Lubbock is very special to me. I met my wife in Lubbock.
Oh, cool. Well, I went to school there, but
Okay,
I'm older than
yeah.
you.
Okay.
So, so I went to school there. I graduated in 1976, the bicentennial year. So you weren't there yet. You weren't even teaching yet.
Okay. Okay. So you went to Tech, I'm guessing.
Yes, I
Okay.
am. I'm actually from the coast, but I went to school there. So
Hmm.
you were in Lubbock for a while and did high school band.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you love doing marching band?
Yes, I did actually, and I mean, it was new, it was exciting, it was new ground. I hadn't done much marching band prior to that, and
Hmm.
it was just neat to get in there and learn something new.
Did you write music for your marching band?
A little bit. I was just very careful because back then we were still playing stuff off the shelves. We were transitioning from
Yeah.
published to getting your own music written.
Uh-huh.
So I basically just bought off the shelf. That was kind of the end of that era. So that's what I did.
Right. Okay. And then after your high school experiences or after your Lubbock experience, then is that when you moved to the Metroplex?
That is when I moved to the Metroplex. I
Oh,
taught at Wedgwood Middle School for 4 years before moving over to Everman, which is where I ended my career.
right. And you did 30 years and then retired. Is that correct?
Sort of.
Sort of.
You know, Taught for 30 years, and then I actually taught for 5 additional years at Lake Country Christian School on the northwest end of town.
Okay. You know, I have run into you at the one of the water park festivals
That is
with
correct. Yes.
the with the Christian school, and
Right.
I literally say, "These lucky children." Because
Well,
look
I'll
who
tell you
they
what.
have with you.
Well, this lucky band director, they were great kids to work with, and
Yeah,
it was just a really fun time.
that's awesome. That's really awesome. Well, I just you said so many things that have already kind of shocked me in a good way, about with the start of your career. And I didn't know that you had lived from this part of Texas all the way. Have you done all of your teaching in Texas?
All my teaching is in Texas. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Do you still have family in uh, Gary, Indiana?
In Indiana, no, I don't.
Yeah.
No, my big brother lives in Birmingham, Alabama, and my sister-in-law lives in Houston, and that's my family from Indiana.
Everybody moved south. Okay,
Everyone else
good.
moved. Everyone moved or is no longer with us. That's where we
So, when did you really get into the composition thing? Like, was
are.
there
All
a
right.
point where you went, I think this may be my career number two, after teaching, or how did that work?
There was after that initial piece, I worked with TRN Music Publisher with two phenomenal gentlemen, Jim Wiley and Daryl Anderson.
Daryl Anderson, I
You
know.
remember
Yeah.
Daryl? Yeah, we
Hmm.
worked together, and we all worked together for about 13 years. And
Oh,
after that initial piece that they went ahead and published for me, Jim gave me a call that summer asking if I could do four more along that level. And my answer was, "Well, Jim, look, man, it was all I could do to get you the one." So I was trying to get my little middle school band going.
right.
And but to this day, that summer, and to this day, I can't tell you how I did it, but I somehow or another found it within me to get them four more pieces, and that's pretty much how I got started.
Wow. Well, did you do mostly marches at first?
Marches, yes, I did a couple, and then I wrote my first little overture. I can't even remember what the title was. Those were just so many years ago.
I
And
know.
what I did was, I just did lots of listening and just to see what some of the other composers out there were doing,
So,
and
who were the other composers during that time that you were really listening to?
that I really listened to. Again, there weren't many, many writing for the super young bands,
I
at
know.
least there weren't a lot. At least there weren't a lot that I liked. But I was listening to Jim Swearingen. I was listening to Francis Macbeth. He had a couple of things that were not super difficult that I really embraced.
Mm-hmm.
Claude T. Smith was one of my
Mm.
favorite ones to listen to.
Yeah.
So those were just a couple. And
Yeah.
Frank Erickson was still writing back then, so there was a lot.
Right. I know, I can remember in the 80s when I taught in Plano, right in the big middle of Jim Swearingen
Mhm.
mania, and Ann McGinty, and
Yes.
those people were big, and then Willie Owens came along afterwards. So, well, that is really awesome. So I know you mentioned that you were with TRN, but now you tell me who you're with now, or do you do self-publishing?
Okay, a very little bit, but most of my work is commercial. I am now exclusive with the Excelsior Music Company, where I work with Larry Clark and Tyler Arcuri.
Hmm.
Excelsior, Wingert Jones, they just acquired the RBC company, okay, here in San
Yes.
Antonio,
Hmm.
and so I am with them exclusively, and and that's a wonderful relationship. I just really enjoy working with those people. They're just
Well,
really fine, genuine folks, as well as great musicians.
that's awesome.
Up
Um, Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, up until then, I worked for many years with the FJH Music Company,
Hmm.
working with Brian Balmages, and who was again great to work with. Another
Hmm.
great musician, another great person. Did some work with Alfred, a little bit of work with Robert W. Smith Publications, and
Hmm.
was lucky enough to be able to do some things with Randall Standridge.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm just thinking about my bulk of middle school teaching was in the 80s and then late 90s into 2000. And I'm thinking about how much music changed um, from, the 80s. And I'm thinking really particularly of a couple of things. Number one, percussion parts.
Yes.
Yes, that has really become a thing. And also just the going from three-part clarinet more to two-part, three-part trumpet more to two-part, and stuff like that. And it's just become so much more practical, honestly,
Mhm.
especially with the percussion situation that we have now. I know here in Texas, but I'm sure really all over the country where percussion is just the thing now,
Mhm.
and you got to have parts for them.
Right. Well, and that started to evolve, and for that you can thank all these composers who, at that point, were starting to come out of the East Coast, who were and off of the West Coast. Many of these guys and gals were band directors in situations like what I grew up in middle school, where you only saw the kids one day a week, two
Right.
days, and so gradually people got the idea. Let's go two clarinet parts instead of one, or instead of three.
Hmm.
One oboe part instead of the two, and in that way, and things just began to evolve
Hmm.
as it passed and as it changed hands and went around. It just, things got better and better for students and just more accessible.
It's funny whenever I work with young people who do old music, which I highly recommend.
Yes.
Um, I call it old timey scoring because sometimes you just have to rewrite things to achieve um, what we're used to hearing now.
Right.
I mentioned earlier how your music that I literally say when somebody says I'm going to play so and so by Willie Owens, I go, well then your band will sound great because of the scoring that you do, and it's just so different. And I just don't think that it's bad to do old stuff, but I do think sometimes you have to do rewriting if you want to sleep at
Yes.
night and not
Yes.
worry about what it's going to sound like.
Well put.
So that it's just exciting to see. And I want to mention one other thing. I just kind of wrote this down. I have loved watching your music go from the stuff that I knew at the very beginning, little bitty overtures, to over. I'm not I'm going to say pieces that kind of have historical
Mhm.
references and things. And whenever I was reading your bio, I see that you are interested in historical events. Is
I
that
am.
how that all kind of came about?
That is exactly precisely how it all came about. I'm just a huge fan of our country's history. And, I'm a student of it. And many of my pieces, as are based on historical events, that occurred here in the country. And, the first thing I do when I write a piece anymore, the way it's been because of that, I have to have a title to start with. I can't start a piece without a title, without knowing what.
Really? So you start with the title.
I gotta have a title. I can't just
I love
write
that.
and then stick a name on it. I gotta have a title because that very much dictates what direction the piece goes in.
Well, that's so interesting. Do you think that most composers do work that way, or is it the other way
Um,
around?
not at all sure. I've talked to all my composer buddies, and
Hmm.
everybody's different. Just like band directors, we all have different styles,
Right,
and
right.
the comp world's no different. So some do, others don't. But that's just me, which is very
So,
objective.
so you became a full-time composer basically whenever you retired.
Pretty much. I would say that now I was doing a lot of work when I was still teaching, and
Hmm.
say when I got involved, particularly with the FJH company,
Got it.
that's when things took off and really started getting busy. And I
Well,
would,
I was going to say you were busy if you were teaching and composing.
well, it was, oh yeah, no, about 90% of my work back in those days got done during the wee hours. Maybe
I'm
2,
sure.
3, 4 a.m. So
Right.
lots of cup of coffee, lots of cups of coffee.
Oh my goodness. So, is your wife's name is Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Is
Mhm.
she musical?
She is not.
Okay.
George is not a musician at all, and I am just very blessed because from when we first met, she has been more than understanding of all this crazy running around, all this crazy stuff I do.
Well, that's important. And you guys have been married for a long time, huh?
This is our 27th season.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, that's just about rock star status, these days with marriages. So that is awesome. So, who do you think, or who, not do you think, but who do you really collaborate with? Or I want to lead into your orchestral stuff here in just a minute because I know you do some stuff for
Mhm.
orchestra. But is there anybody that you work closely with or really have a close association with in the composer world?
There is. There are a couple of folks. My mentor and dear friend, Dr. Quincy Hilliard. He and yeah, oh, I chat with him on the phone all the time, and we do a little thing in the summer where we get together and we just hang out and we eat good food and we listen to music and we talk composition.
That's
And
awesome.
every single time I talk with that good fella, I like to think I walk away a little smarter. Whenever
Well,
he's in Texas, if he's close, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna hang out with him and we're gonna have a good time.
he was the inspiration for this whole composer interview
Oh,
thing.
okay, okay.
Yes, he was. Okay, so Quincy Hilliard, anybody else?
And but I mean, at that level, Quincy's my number one go-to.
Got it.
But whenever I'm at the conventions, I just hang out with all my composer pals, just whoever I can. We sit around and we ask questions and we chat. It's always a great time.
That's just really awesome. Well, I want to, I'm just kind of things are coming into my mind as we go. So, one place that in the state of Texas that you have made a huge difference positively is in our sight reading programs that we do UIL. And I don't know if other states, do other states have programs like that for sight reading?
I believe at this point about 25 states have adopted our sight reading system, the Texas sight reading system.
Oh, okay. Okay. Which is kind of in a state of change and all that kind of stuff right now.
Mhm.
But I will say this: I uh, I know that when directors see your name on a sight reading piece, it's a huge sigh of relief because
Okay.
we know that it's going to sound good.
Well, hey, I just want to help folks out. That's all it's about.
And you um, have written many different levels. I judged sight reading last year, and I think you wrote the level 4 or 5. I can't
Level,
remember.
I don't remember either, 4 or 5. Lately,
Yeah,
I've been doing 4, 5, and 6.
yeah. I mean, and so that was really cool. In fact, the last year that I taught, 2007, I played Cops and Robbers. That was my sight
Hey.
reading piece, and I loved it, and the kids loved it too. So, speaking of level 4, 5, and 6, and all that kind of stuff, would you say that the bulk of your catalog is more middle school level, or does it kind of go across the whole spectrum?
Well, I would say the bulk of it, the huge bulk, runs in the grade 2, 2.5 level.
Okay.
And while it does cross the spectrum, I would say the bulk of it, the big area is going to be grade 2, 2.5.
So that's interesting. Before I was involved in this project, I was involved in the project for commissions. And somebody, I can't remember who said, the music that really is the most marketable are the grade 2.5s
That's
and
correct.
threes,
Uh-huh.
because um, high school bands, there are some high school bands that need that. There are some middle school bands that can do that.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's really cool.
No, that's it. The little rural schools, and on
Yes.
some of our states, and like I mentioned earlier, some of these situations on the East Coast where
Hmm.
you don't have the luxury of seeing your students 5 days a week.
Okay. So
Those,
have you, I know during the pandemic, I hate to say the word, but that's just where we all became Zoom masters. And I have to tell you, I walked into more than one band hall where I would see you on the screen. So I do think that the pandemic brought composers into the classroom
yes. Mhm.
more than ever before.
Yep.
Um,
And during that time, I think I did about 45 Zoom sessions.
well, it was kind of a good result of a bad situation.
Mhm. Yes, it was. Love
So
doing it.
did you really do any of much of the flex writing?
I did a few.
Hmm.
Okay, not many, but did a couple.
Hmm.
And that was an interesting situation in that it was interesting to get around and see how these parts were actually used and distributed because I mean, what the flex thing, what I was surprised mostly about the flex part were how one piece with the same ensemble, depending on how you distribute parts, could sound so different. It was really kind of cool. It was kind of interesting.
Well, I have said to several people, don't throw those things away,
Right.
because I just like going back to your beginning years of teaching middle school, you never know what the instrumentation is going to
Hmm.
be. And so,
Very cool.
yeah, and so in that regard, I do think that they may have a little bit more lasting impact than
Mhm.
maybe than we thought. So we know you do band. Do you do orchestra?
I do. Yes, ma'am.
So is it more original compositions for orchestra, or is it band things that you have taken into the orchestra
Oh,
world?
no, pretty much all original. There are a couple that I've arranged from some of my band works. I've done a couple of transcriptions.
Hmm.
But I would say, I'm going to say 80% is all original
Oh,
material.
cool.
It's really fun. I like writing for strings. I was very hesitant. My friend Soon-Hee Newbold was the one who brought me into it.
I know that name. Yes.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
bet. And she was very encouraging and very helpful.
Mhm. Oh, cool. Yeah.
I mean, she helped me come into an arena that I was myself just was not ready or all that willing, to be honest, to come into.
Hmm.
But a couple of encouraging words and a couple of pointers, helped me come in and be able to do some things. It was good for me to be able to just brush up on my strings after not having looked at them so long after
Right.
college. And I love writing. I love the beginning of it because, well, it got me out of my comfort zone, and that's what I appreciate the most about
Well, I know more and more as we get older. that it's good for us to get out of
Yes.
our comfort zone a little. So I know you do string stuff. Have you done any full orchestra stuff?
At this point, I have not. Okay, I've got one on the horizon. I've got one that I'm going to begin working on later
I
on.
think you should. I think people would love it. And I do. I don't know if it's becoming more frequent for middle schools to have full orchestras, but it seems to me that it is. And I know that's more of a Metroplex thing
Mhm.
because that's generally where orchestras are available. But I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Do you sell orchestra stuff around to other states, or is it mostly here?
Oh no, no, no! It's distributed nationwide.
Everywhere. Yeah, yeah. I have not had a lot of dealings with other states, but a few outside of Chicago.
Mhm.
A little bit of Utah, a little bit of Oklahoma, and everything, like that. And the thing I find are kids are kids are kids.
That is
Whatever.
correct. Hmm.
But just the schedules and everything, especially in the Chicago area where I go, it's just so different.
Right, very
And
much.
New York, I know it's really really different. But anyway, I just did not know that you did any orchestra things, and so I'm happy for them
Mhm.
for sure. So I'll open up Facebook this summer, and you are here and there and everywhere. So tell me what you do in your travels. You do a lot of honor bands.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Look at me pointing that finger. And but I mean, you just do so many things that are not composition. Okay, so tell me about those things that you get to do.
Okay, well, the honor band I call that's a seasonal thing, and you're quite involved with that from November, say, till around mid March till the end of April, and I'm privileged to get to do several of those throughout the year, and I spend my summers doing seminars for band directors, which have to do with composition and arranging, and that's a lot of fun. Many of the honor bands coming back to that I do are out of state, and what I love about that is just getting around the country and, like you mentioned earlier, just seeing what's going on in other parts of the country.
But kids are kids are kids.
Kids are kids. In the end, yes, ma'am. Today, kids are kids are kids.
Hmm.
But I mean, there are just so many wonderfully different ways to do things. And when I started traveling the country and watching how things are done in other states, that just made me, well, for lack, let me just say, I became a whole lot less judgmental when I got out there and saw what
I
other people, and when I got out there and saw what other people had to deal with.
Yes, yes. Yeah, situations, schedules, everything, facilities, money. I mean,
Yes.
it's
Yep.
just there's
Mhm.
a lot.
Oh yeah.
That's really I like that. A lot less judgmental. That's good.
Mhm.
So honor bands. How about seminars?
I do for again for band directors, and it's just neat to come and give the composition and arranging seminars. Mainly, we mentioned rewriting from some of those old pieces from back in the day.
Uh-huh.
And, so what I embraced was taking some of those pieces, and I got to do a good bit of this while I was teaching in the private school sector for that little while.
Oh, uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Go back and grab a couple of these older pieces and rewrite them to sound as close to the genuine article as possible for a handful of people. And so I did that for about 4 or 5 years, and it was just neat to here again go back and kind of redo things and relearn a few things to help a handful of kids,
Hmm.
sound like a full ensemble.
That's the thing. After you put your hands on it, it sounds like a full ensemble.
Okay, and it was a lot of trial and error, which was fine, and I actually really enjoyed the learning process because we'd go back and we'd write some things up. That's not so good. Let's go back and try that
Hmm.
again. So that aspect of it was actually pretty enjoyable. Pretty frustrating at times, but hey, all in all, good time.
Good, good. So I know this summer was kind of a big deal because you received a doctorate from your alma mater.
Yeah, I did. And
So
uh,
tell us about that. That had
well,
to be exciting.
well, let me tell you. Later on, you were probably going to ask me something along the line of what would be a highlight of your career. So we're going to go ahead and just skip ahead, and
Let's just do it.
I'll just have to say that that would have been it. The board of directors, the alumni board, and the president of my alma mater, Vandercook College of Music, saw fit to confer upon me the Doctorate of Music Education honoris causa, and for which I will be just forever grateful and forever humbled. When I first got the call, I was absolutely floored. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe. I was like, listen, there's a host of other people you could confer this on. Why me? And their immediate answer was, well, why not you? No, but it was just a wonderful honor, and it was just wonderful recognition. And wow.
Well, you may have been surprised, but nobody that knows you and knows your work was surprised. So, and that is really, that's
Well, I
exciting.
appreciate that, but I promise you, I'm surprised enough for all of you. Trust me.
Well, I'm still going to call you Willie. I'll call you Dr. Owens on occasion.
No, you won't. Willie, please.
I love it. So I know that you are interested in history, all things history, but tell us about your other interests, which I already know what they are, but one of them is. But tell us a little bit about your other interests outside of music.
Okay, well, my wife and one of my big interests is just hanging out with Miss Georgia. What
Oh,
we do is now she's busy. She works as an insurance agent, so that keeps her busy. She was a real
mhm,
estate agent for the past couple of decades. After COVID, she let that go and switched to insurance, which keeps her busy, and she
mhm.
loves that. And she works mainly with older folks. But when Medicaid, Medicare, all that kind of idea.
Right.
But when she's not doing that, we hang out together and we travel. When we can, we go places and we look for different things to get into, just to stay stimulated. So I would say one of my two big hobbies is my wife Georgia. We
Well,
just
that's cool.
doing stuff. Yeah, hey,
What's the other hobby?
just like you all. Now, my other hobby, I drive around in a little bitty old two-seater called a Corvette.
I know. That's what I really wanted you to talk about. I'm
Yeah,
happy to hear about
no,
Georgia, though.
oh yeah, oh no, I've got a couple of them, and that's a good time. I mean, I love the car. I'm a student of the car. I'm an enthusiast of it. I belong to our local Corvette club here, Cowtown Vets, which is
Oh,
a service organization. We don't just get together and talk car. We do the autocrosses and then the cruises and all that. But we help out. We volunteer at places like the Tarrant Food Bank, Cook's Children's Hospital.
oh, wow.
We
That's
do
awesome.
things like that. So and so
When
that's
you travel around, do you drive in your Corvette?
oh, when I travel, no, just around town. And
I
like I
know.
said, with my club, we do the cruises.
Uh-huh.
And we got a fellow who maps them all out, and it's always a good time. And there will be about 20, 30 of us. So if you ever see a big old Corvette caravan going in a particular direction, that's probably us.
I love that. That's really fun. Well, of course, as each year goes by, getting into a lower car, it's like, I don't know about that. So anyway, I'm going to leave that for you in Georgia.
Well, there's no graceful way of getting in or out that I've found, but still, it's a good time.
But it's fun. Yeah, once you get in there. So, well, I tell you what, I have learned so much during this conversation. I thought I knew a lot about you. I mean, my gosh, I played your music or helped people, work on your music and everything for so long. But there's just a lot of other, stuff behind there that I'm really happy to learn. Is there anything that I have skipped over that you want the general public to know?
Basically, no, that's pretty much it. And I just want to say thanks so much for having me. This was just such a neat time.
Well, it's just fun. It's fun to get to know people. And I do think, like I said, this whole interview process was the brainchild of Quincy Hilliard. So anyway, I'll be happy to post our video on there and let all, future uh, teachers and students and not future teachers, teachers that, teach your music right now, and everybody have access to it, so, and get to know you better. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And stay cool. I think we're finally turning hot here in
Oh, yeah.
Texas.
Tis the season.
Yes, 'tis the season. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Willie Owens.
There you go. Hey,
All
it was
right.
nice. Thanks so much.
Thank you.